Welcome to the Pain SA podcast, where we discuss the devastating and long lasting effects resulting from parental alienation. I'm your host, Dominic Charles, and I have been alienated from my daughter on and off for almost 12 years, and I've had no access or contact with my daughter since August 2021. The aim of this show is to create awareness, influence change in the legal system, and reunite fathers with their children. Please note that the users of all Parental Alienation Intervention Network South Africa, hereby known as PAIN SA, and all its subsequent media platforms, affiliated groups, projects, companies, take no responsibility or risk for the use of PAIN SA and related media entities such as Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all subsequent similar related media platforms used by PAIN SA. We accept no responsibility or liability for any views or related topics verbally, written, or otherwise by users on PAIN SA's media and or other platforms or entities as mentioned herein. We accept no responsibility, liability for any views expressed or actions taken by users of the PAIN SA group, its affiliates, or platforms of expression. We accept no responsibility or liability to any person as a consequence of any reliance upon the information given on the site. Under no circumstances, including negligence, shall anyone involved in creating or maintaining PAIN SA working content and maintenance therefore be liable for any direct or indirect damages from testimonials given by independent guest speakers invited to relay their personal testimonies, beliefs, or opinions on PAIN SA's live show or posts. Yo, welcome back, people. You're probably wondering what the hell does sales, becoming a better salesperson, have to do with winning this whole parental alienation war? Well, watch till the end, and I'm going to show you exactly how and make sense of all of this for you. All right. So I just had this idea the other day, and sales, the skill of persuasion has always helped me. All right. Although with parental alienation, when I started getting alienated from my child, I didn't use it very much because I was too emotionally involved. Now, if you've watched the past couple of shows, I've talked a lot about removing from emotion from it. And Charles has spoken now the other day. If you guys haven't watched that, go back 2 episodes. In fact, I'll leave the link in the description afterwards. But would you believe me if I told you that the answer to this whole problem could possibly be that you just need to learn how to be a better salesperson? Right? You probably wouldn't believe me, right? Now, let me tell you a story quickly. I sucked at sales. I sucked so much that, the first time I went into a sales job, I probably lasted just the training period there. I remember I joined O'Keefe and Schwartz, and we were selling insurance. I ended up not selling to people. I ended up helping them complain, like the ombudsman. So the previous job I had prior to that, before sales, I was actually in customer service, and I loved just helping people. So it was my nature, and I felt that sales was more about convincing people to buy things that they actually don't want, which is a common misconception. Most people think that way. The typical example is the car salesman, and I'm going to show you an example of that later on. But as I got to learn that sales is all about really building trust, it's about changing people's belief, and it's about solving problems, right? Now, most men feel like this. In this whole alienation game, when we being falsely accused, your back is against the wall, you're cornered, and you just feel like everyone is against you. Social workers, police officers, lawyers, judges, everyone is just out to get you, right? I've heard a lot of fathers also just speaking about how corrupt the entire system is. Now, that may be, I'm not one to speak on it. I can't prove that there's money involved here, money being passed around. I do know that lawyers charge a whole lot of money, but is that really the lawyer's fault? Also, remember that these people have studied a long time for them to actually gain those degrees. Uh, comment comment below if you feel like I'm talking crap right now, but at least watch this video to the end so that I make my point, and then we can discuss. Okay, so don't shoot it down just yet. Now, I'm all about solutions, and I've heard a lot of fathers also just complaining about how evil the ex is. And yes, I also believe that to some extent. But what if I told you that she's just better than at presenting than you? She's better at presenting, whether it even be lies. How does she get people to believe in false evidence or false accusations without any evidence? There's a technique to all of this, right? She's also probably better at keeping people's attention, right? uh, Alienating parents demand attention. They have a way of controlling people around them, where and I'm not saying become a narcissist now. I'm not saying become a sociopath or all those other wonderful mental conditions that we've now learned about. What I'm saying is that you need to be more tactful, all right? The game that they're playing here is an emotional one, and once you display that emotion and lose control of it, then, well, you've lost the game already, right? So this is another thing that they are good at, is controlling emotion, switching tears on and off. And again, I'm not saying that this is what you should do, especially for a man. If you start crying and breaking down like a woman would, that's trying to get people to believe them, then you'll be seen as crazy. Okay. They're going to see you as weak and unstable. I've mentioned this before. I'm repeating myself now, but I want to close this off this week so that we go into a new week thinking a little bit differently about this whole thing. Now, typical example of a car salesman. When a car salesman's offer is rejected, or at least a good car salesman, they don't get angry. When there's an objection, I need to speak to my wife. Uh, Let me think about it. I don't think I can afford it. Again, this doesn't anger them. It's means for them to overcome. The objection simply means that people are not ready to make a decision yet. To bring this home to your particular case, first time you speak to a social worker, they've already called you in for whatever evidence they've got against you. You come in there telling them, no, this woman is lying and all of that. Right, fair and well, but what proof do you have that she's lying? And often we say, what proof that they have? What proof do they have that we actually committed this crime that they're accusing us of? Now, we can go back and forth that for that. But how I would handle it is I'd go in there and I'd say, okay, I need to know everything that's been accused, that I've been accused of, and you welcome it. You there to find out. You're just inquiring. Okay, so they'll tell you you're accused of this, that, and that. You say, okay, what's the procedure next? What's if I am accused of sexual abuse? What's supposed to happen next? No, you're supposed to be arrested or you're supposed to be investigated. Okay, so why hasn't that happened yet? Okay, well, it's going to happen or whatever the case may be. But you fact finding here in this stage, right? And just because one person doesn't believe you doesn't mean that you have to give up. A good car salesman doesn't give up after the first attempt. If they've shown a vehicle to someone, then that might not be the right vehicle. Instead of trying to convince them, they might give them other options or sell it to them as to why this vehicle would solve their problem. Now, to bring that into your into your case here, let me try and make this real for you. So, with the social worker, they've now told you exactly what the allegations are against you and what the next steps are and so forth. You should already know your rights, right? That goes into the next point that I want to make. A great car salesperson knows their products. Any salesperson knows the benefits to their products. And if you're thinking, how does this relate to your case? Okay, this is where evidence comes in and your rights. Okay, you can't just walk in there without any ammo. When you go and sit down with whoever has called you in, lawyers, whatever the case may be, listen, don't be quick to respond. Gather information and then present what you have. At this point, you should already have had some sort of documentation. You should have emails, text messages, phone calls, whatever you can to prove that, well, the other party is lying. And it's not that difficult to prove. As much as we think that it is, and the world is against us, it all goes on behavior. Now, you probably know that your ex is good at manipulating and persuading people and getting them to believe in the lies. But how would you like to learn how to actually get them to believe in the truth? To give you a chance to present your truth. Okay. Now, there's techniques in this. People will shut you down, but there's a way that you can get people to listen to you. And I can't explain all of these in this video. It's going to take way too long. I'll show you at the end what my solution is for all of this. Okay. And I hope you guys would be open to learning. All right. So, the one thing you need to learn is to overcome objections. People are already probably up against you based on what they've been told. You going in there and playing into that hand, uh, being unstable, being emotional, is just going to make your case worse. Okay, so you need to learn how to overcome the objection. And one way of doing that is that you're showing exactly the opposite of what you are accused of. But you first need to know what you are accused of. Am I making sense here? You don't go in there just accusing everyone as well, calling them corrupt officials, this, that, and the other, because you're not going to be heard, right? You fact find, you take it in calmly, and then you present. Okay, all those are what I'm planning to teach this in a master class. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. So the one thing you also need to do is learn how to change the belief. Remember, you walking into the situation, they already have a belief about you. But if they don't see what you see, they've got this picture in their mind already about you. And when you present yourself, when you're there in front of them, and it's hard for them now to believe that how is it possible that this man is abusive, or you see, you can easily swing the whole, you can turn the table a whole, sorry, you can turn the table around, right, by just displaying exactly the opposite of what you have been accused of, if that makes any sense. So if your ex has said this man is angry and frustrated all the time, is always swearing at me, and you go in there, there's no proof of that, then guess what will work in your favor is probably just to remain calm and show them that you are a level-headed person. Right? I know this sounds repetitive, but more and more fathers I'm speaking to is just making outlandish remarks and accusations against government and all of that, and it's not helping the situation for all of us. Uh, Hence why probably they throw this blanket statement over men that we are deadbeats, that we are abusive because of the aggression that we have when we go in there. Okay, so what you'll also learn is how to build trust. Trust is a big factor in getting people to, well, side with you. No one buys from someone that they don't trust. And when I talk about selling, you're selling your story here, right? How many times were you shut down when trying to tell your story by the social worker, by the magistrate? But they shut you down for a reason. And it comes from just making remarks and doing exactly what your alienating ex is probably doing. So when you are faced with an accusation, you don't make an accusation, you show facts. You say, okay, this is what she says, but this is what I have. This is actually an incident on said date and time. And yes, I probably did swear at her, but look at what she said to me before I saw it. Look at what led up to that event. I don't just go swearing at people. That's not who I am. But there are things that have happened that has pushed me to that point. You get what I'm saying? So those things, as silly as it may sound, it actually holds up in court. It's one of the things that I have used in improving my innocence with the protection order. So it's only what people can prove that, well, at the end of the day, makes you win or lose. So I just thought I'd come on here quickly, just pick a few brains, hear what you guys have to say about it. I do understand it's Sunday. I didn't expect very many people to be on here. But if you're watching this, even if it's the replay, please feel free to comment, give me your idea there. And if you'd like to be notified of when I am going to launch the masterclass, obviously it's going to be much better prepared than just a live interview. When I do masterclasses, it's a lot of research that goes into it, and it will actually be with professionals also on board. So the masterclass we're planning is not only to teach you how to present better, but also what your legal rights are, right? So all of these things have to be packaged for you, and it's going to be a DIY class, meaning that you can save yourself a whole lot of money instead of going through the whole legal system, lawyers and so forth, if you follow the steps correctly. Right now, we are going to open up for free because this is a beta masterclass. We need to try and test everything, although this has been tested by family law experts. I've got Shal that came on now the other day. He's had some successes. There's many fathers reaching out now that have self-litigated, that have told me their stories of what they've done, and these are all patterns that's followed. So in order for this to become a program, we need to try and test it, and that's what we're going to be using also to raise funds to keep this thing moving. Okay. On that note, if you guys are in the position to donate, please, any donations will be much appreciated. The systems that we're running on, and there are some overheads. It gets a bit hard to handle all of that out of the pocket. So if you feel that you're getting value from this, please help us keep this going. And I'll open up for questions. If there aren't any, I don't see anyone online, please do type in your questions in the comments. Hit the like button. I'm just going to play I found this awesome backtracks here. So I'm just going to take a quick break here. 5-minute break. If I come back up and there are no questions, then we'll end the show for now. But type masterclass in the notification, in the comments. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put it in the description. Okay, I'll put a link in the description after this live where you can just sign up to be notified when this masterclass is happening. For the first 20 people, it's going to be absolutely free. Like I said, we're testing it. We never sell anything that hasn't been tested, right? Unlike some people, right? We have to make sure that everything works before we can turn this into a product. But that's one way that we have decided to solve some problems here in SA, is getting people to actually realize and equip them with the tools that they need to represent themselves better, okay, and win. Because there are, as much as you think everything is corrupt and messed up, there are fathers winning on a daily basis, and they're coming forward now with those wins and sharing their stories. So yeah, I see there's 2 comments here. Okay, thanks, Lisa Marie. We've got 1 there already typed in, masterclass. Awesome. And I'm just gonna go for that quick break here, 5-minute break, guys. If there's any questions, please do type in the meantime, and I'll see you in a bit. Right, welcome back, guys. Um, yeah, I've been on mute there for a while again. Sorry, trying to control too many things here. Yeah, so again, if you would like to be notified about the masterclass, please type in the word masterclass if you are watching on Facebook. I will leave the link to the masterclass on YouTube right after the show. Thanks again for joining for those who could. Even if you're watching on the replay, please just uh, yeah, leave your comments. I do read all of them. I make sure that I do, and I will reply to them. And regardless of whether you're watching live or not, if you type in masterclass, you go through to the chat bot. You will be asked to just subscribe so that you can be notified of when that masterclass launches. And yeah, let's make this thing work, man. I'm tired of all the complaints. I don't mind listening to them, but at the end of the day, we need to have solutions to these things, man, and stop waiting for government to solve our problems. Let's come together and solve our problems. Let's come to the table with solutions, right? A bunch of them, and then they can choose which work. And even better if we come with solutions that have been tried and tested and proven. And that's the reason for this masterclass. Okay, so that's it from me, guys. Have an awesome Sunday. I will be seeing you tomorrow. We actually do have a father telling his story. He is all the way from Australia. Yeah, this is happening all over the world, people. So I'm not surprised at the false allegations. It's gone through the same thing that we go through here. You'd think that Australia is better, but yeah, think twice if you're gonna run over there, guys. Run away from South Africa to Australia, especially if you're an alienated parent, because this guy has some stories to tell himself. So, yeah, that will be coming up tomorrow. Steve Wickenden is joining us, and he'll be on the show, The Dirty, telling his story. And yeah, if you're wondering what these stories actually do, why they're important, well, uh, they they actually do attract people. It's every day I've got at least 2 3 fathers reaching out wanting to tell their story, not sure of what they can't say. They're scared, they're fearful. So I do a little bit of coaching on the side, just in terms of personal development mindset, things that have helped me get through this whole mess, and things that still keep me going. I haven't seen my daughter for a long time, but I don't feel like I used to. There's no despair, there's no animosity anymore. I wake up, I know how to feel happiness. I don't feel sadness that much anymore, funny enough. And yeah, that comes from helping others. So your story can help others. That's the first thing. You maybe you've been telling your story to the wrong people, but everyone joining this page, following this page, is now either aware or they are going through the exact same problems that you are. And once we join forces, I mean, as I mentioned in the other episode now the other day, that there's 22 million Americans that I've seen in this one documentary that's been affected by parental alienation. That's just the parents. I mean, picture if we all join forces all over the world, how strong we will become, right? And it's not to overthrow. It's to have people understand that this is an epidemic. Treat it the same like you did COVID. Shut down the world, and or do whatever. COVID, there was a solution like this. Parental alienation, it's going on decades, if not centuries. Right, but that's it from me, guys. I don't want to leave off on a complaining note. The solution is the masterclass. With your help, we will design a masterclass that actually brings results in any country. I know that behavior and sales and the power of influence is definitely something that's being used here to alienate us. So we might as well use the same thing to free our kids. On that note, I'm going to leave you. Peace, love. Enjoy the week. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have an awesome evening further. And don't forget, your donations will be much appreciated. Okay, just type donate if you're on Facebook, and if you are on YouTube, there's a donate button above on our page. All right, so thank you guys for joining. Thank you for listening, and let me know your thoughts on this week's live. It would be awesome to discuss this a little further. And two brains are better than one. What if we 10? What if we 20? What if we 10,000? Let's come up with something that works. That's it from me.